2nd Esdras 13 is one of the most powerful and prophetic visions in all the scripture. It describes the return of Yahushua, often called the man from the sea, and how he will come with divine power to judge the nations who have oppressed, enslaved, and mistreated Israel. So I will explain 2nd Esdras 13, Yahushua's return and the judgment of nations. The man coming from the sea, Yahushua HaMashiach. In 2nd Esdras 13:3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And Esdras sees a vision of a man rising from the midst of the sea. Not a literal ocean, but symbolic of the heavens, as in Revelation 17:15. Also uses water as a symbol for multitudes and nations. This is Yahushua returning with hosts of heaven, angelic armies full of power and glory. The nations prepare for war against Yahushua. In 2nd Esdras 13:5 and 6, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear. Later in the chapter, in 2nd Esdras 13:6 and 8, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. And behold, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. The nations of the earth, the Gentile powers, kings, militaries, beast systems, come together to fight against Yahushua. Despite their fear, they still choose rebellion. This mirrors Revelation 19, where the beasts and kings of the earth gather to a war against a rider on the white horse. Yahushua destroys them with his word. In 2nd Esdras 13:10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. In 2nd Esdras 13:11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, and burned them up, everyone. He doesn't need guns. He doesn't need tanks. He speaks and they are consumed. His word is fire. His judgment is final. The same mouth that created the world now destroys the wicked. This aligns with Isaiah 11:4 and 2 Thessalonians 2:8, where he slays the wicked with the breath of his lips. Yahushua gathers and glorifies the lost tribes of Israel. In 2nd Esdras 13:39 through 40, and he shall gather another peaceable multitude unto him. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king. While the nations are destroyed, Yahushua gathers his people, the scattered 10 tribes, and by implication all of Israel who were taken in captivity and scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. Reference Isaiah 11:11 through 12 and Ezekiel 37. These are the descendants of Jacob, the real Israelites, many of whom are still asleep in identity today. Yahushua gathers them not for religion, but for restoration, rulership, and righteousness. The final judgment and restoration. In 2nd Esdras 13:54, then shalt thou well understand that these things are laid up in store, and not showed to all men, but only to such as be wise like these. This is not for the whole world to understand. Only the remnant, the wise, and those with the eyes to see will grasp it. Yahushua returns in power from the heavens, not as a lamb, but as a conquering king and judge. The nations of the world, including Babylon, which is U.S., Gog and Magog, Iran, and Persia, and all beast systems will unite to fight him. Yahushua will speak, and it will be consumed by fire. At the same time, he will gather the scattered tribes of Israel, the true descendants of Jacob, and restore them to the rightful inheritance. This is the final battle before the kingdom of Yahuwah is fully established on the earth. This is my final message to Israel and their descendants, which is us. They tried to erase you. They enslaved you, but Yahushua is coming. and he's coming for you. So it's time for you to make the decision. Either you're going to be ready to fight in Yahusha'S army, or you're going to be destroyed like all the other nations that turned their back on his people. You make the decision.